Okay, Panderina, Chef Panderina, what are you making?
Today I'm Chef Panderina. I'm making today some Creole Crawfish Cornbread cakes. Almost a rendition of crab cakes. But being a native of South Louisiana and the state of Louisiana, and this is crawfish season, we're going to do these cakes. And I made my cornbread yesterday. And in the cornbread I did jalapenos, red peppers, and yellow peppers to kind of give it that little Mardi Gras flavor. And plus it's real tasty too. And I'm going to pour it in this bowl. Take this all out of here. Probably more cornbread than we need. And we're going to crumble it up. So a lot of times you can make the cornbread ahead of time and put it in the freezer or in the refrigerator. In fact, I'm going to take some of this out. So I'm going to make a few cakes. And what we're going to do, we're going to crumble it. We're going to crumble the cornbread. Just want to crumble it. And you can even smell the jalapenos that I put in here. And we're crumbling it just as fine as you can, because we're going to add some crawfish. But I'm going to crumble this up. I wish you could smell the cornbread with the peppers in it. It really smells good. It really smells good.
So I'm sure you buy your crawfish probably from somewhere local, but did you grow up with crawfish boils?
I did.
What are your memories of?
My memories of crawfish, and my father was military, so we did some traveling, but I'll have to give my parents one rendition. They kept the culture with us. And we didn't always have crawfish everywhere we went. But
So where are you from? You're talking crawfish?
New Orleans.
Oh,
New Orleans and the Houma area. And I remember going with my grandfather. He made his own traps. And he made them out of chicken wire. Just put them together with some wire, it's like a dome shape. And I would always be responsible for making sure I got some chicken fat or some worms, something for the bait. He knew just where to go, how thick the mud was, what temperature the mud should be, because they're called mud bugs and they breed in the mud. And he'd put on his boots and he'd know how to go out there and set those traps in that mud. And he'd kind of look at the stars. I don't know if it's stars or just the weather, but he could come back. And we'd come back and there'd be crawfish in it. Sometimes it wouldn't be a lot. Sometimes it'd be a whole lot. Sometimes he could tell if it would rain a certain time. Oh, that crawfish trap's going to be real big. It's going to be a whole lot in there. I'm like, really? And then, of course, there'd be fresh crawfish. So he'd have maybe 4 or 5 traps. Maybe never that many. But just enough. Sometimes we had more than enough. Sometimes we had enough to sell. And then sometimes we just have enough just to fix a certain meal or just to have a crawfish boil for the family. So I remember them, and then of course after that generation passed, we would go to a local seafood market and get them by the sack. We always got them live. Always got them live. And we crawfish boil them at home ourselves. And then of course if we do our own crawfish boil, we would try different seasonings. So cornbread is pretty much crumbled up now. And what I'm going to add to the cornbread, as everybody knows in South Louisiana, we have to have the Trinity, or at least some of the Trinity. I'm going to start with some garlic cloves. Got to have some garlic. And I'm going to chop some garlic inside. I'm going to chop some garlic cloves. I think the good garlic flavor with any type of seafood is good. And of course, the cornbread, it's a little spicy, not much. But like I said, I do have a jalapeno in the mix, and it's got a little kick to it. But I want that garlic flavor to be all through it. And also up the garlic, I'm going to add some onion. And while we're doing that onion, I also remember with crawfish, when we would get the live crawfish, I used to think my grandmother had hands of leather or steel. She could pick up crawfish while they're biting and snapping at her. She would just take them off her arm and throw them on the table, throw them on the ground. Me and my brother would be running from them, trying to catch them and kill them. And then, of course, at that time, they would purge them with salt to try to, to kill them and try to get them ready for the boil. But we couldn't understand how she would not fear them. They'd be crawling on my leg. I'd be trying to get them off. She would just pick them off, put them on the ground like it was nothing. So So far we've got onion and garlic all chopped up. And then our next item, we're going to do a little celery. And I've got some right here.
Tell us again what the name of this recipe.
The name of the recipe is Creole Crawfish Cornbread Cakes. And a lot of times, my grandmother had a rendition of this, with leftover cornbread. And a lot of times it was either shrimp, but basically crawfish, especially during crawfish season. Crawfish, you had plenty of crawfish tails. They did a lot of crawfish bisque, crawfish etouffee. So I thought about this, and it was like one of these quick meals that we would always have, because either it was cornbread, and it was also done with French bread. You do it with French bread. So you do it with either French bread or cornbread, and I just happened to have some cornbread that I made, so I decided to share the recipe and show people that you can take crawfish with crawfish seasoning right now, as well as the cornbread that you have at home, whether it be seasoned or not seasoned. When I say seasoned, with the peppers in it, the jalapeno peppers, and as well as the colored peppers. So, and the colored peppers do add a little flavor, but they also add a nice pretty color to it. And I think, New Orleans is known for Mardi Gras and all the colorful things that goes on. So we're going to take that, we're going to add that in here. And one of the South Louisiana things I'm going to add to it, we have milletons.
Say that again?
Milleton. Now we call it milleton, which is French. The Spanish eat a lot of this, and they call it, and I hope that my Spanish-speaking people will either correct me or correct me that I'm wrong. You can buy them in the stores, but they may not have milleton, not unless you're in South Louisiana. They're either called coyote squash, I believe. And where I was brought up, we would either cut them in half. We're going to cut it in half, and there's a seed inside. A lot of times you take the seed out, and I didn't cut it exactly in the middle. The seed can be cut out just like you would core an apple. And a lot of times we would stuff them. But since I'm going to use this as a vegetable to add to the crawfish cakes to give it a little extra, it's kind of it's a squash, and also I say like an apple texture. A real tart apple. We've made a dressing out of it, and also we would stuff them with crawfish, shrimp, sausage, and make it into a dressing. But I'm going to use this as part of the ingredients. I like the flavor of it. I like texture of it, and I'm not going to peel them. I'm just going to take a piece of it. And I've even pickled milleton. That's something new a lot of people have not done. And we're going to dice it up real fine. We're going to add that to it. And again, normally milletons in New Orleans or in South Louisiana are stuffed with some type of seafood with a dressing, or we stuff it and also make a dressing out of it. Just boiling it, taking the seed out. So I'm going to add a little bit for the flavor. And again, this is some of the stuff that reminds me of being with my grandparents and keeping all that Creole flavor together. So, got that in there. And I'm also going to add some Panderina Soumas' Creole Explosion.
So you make your own spices?
I do. This is a blend that I make myself.
Let's take a look.
It's a blend that I make myself.
Okay. What's that?
We've got a little everything in there. We're going to add just a little bit. We're not going to add a whole lot. And I'll give you the information. You can order off my website. And I have one of our packets here tonight. So we're going to do that. And also, of course, the main ingredient in here is going to be crawfish. I have crawfish tails. Put that in there. And through my great-grandmother, I have a Haitian background. Even though she was born in Louisiana, we found out that her ancestry were part of the Haitian slave trade. So a lot of stuff carried with her that probably she didn't know it carried with her. As far as what we're going to use in here this evening, we're going to use some coconut milk. You can use evaporated milk, but I'm going to use a little coconut milk and some evaporated milk. This coconut milk is very, very thick, and I don't want it to be sweet, but we are going to add a little coconut milk to it.
This is amazing.
Just a little bit, not a whole lot. So I'm going to add some of the coconut. And like I said, not so much the sweetness, it's going to really keep it moist. Coconut milk is really, really good for keeping things moist. So I'm going to add a little evaporated milk. And you can use regular milk. Anything that's going to keep it a little extra moist. Add some of that. I'm going to add a little at a time. Then I'm going to mix it with my hands, or like a consistency.
Oh, that looks good.
And it smells good too. Oh, it smells good. And like I said, I seasoned the cornbread. And you can have, and even if you have just a cornbread with something else. And I am going to add 1 egg.
So Creole cakes like this, that's your creation?
It's my creation.
Mixed with your grandmother, or?
She did a rendition more or less like, almost like a pancake.
Oh.
It was like a pancake with crawfish or seafood. And believe it or not, in their household, they didn't really have a lot of cornbread. There was some, but mostly being Southerners, we had French bread. So the few times that she did have cornbread, there was always something left over because we didn't really eat a lot of cornbread. So either she would of course they would always have it with buttermilk, you know. But however, I just kind of thought of it, believe it or not. She did the crawfish cakes maybe with some type of, not necessarily cornbread, but with like a pancake mix almost. But I thought with this, this may not be bad. So I'm going to crack an egg, just 1 egg. As we all know, egg will kind of bind it together. And it really smells good, y'all. It really does.
It does.
It smells good. And as you will see, it depends on how you want to make how big you want them, how small you want them. I'm going to, this is a little loose. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to add just a little one. And this is not necessarily have to do this, but I'm going to add a little breadcrumbs. Just a little. Just a very, very little. Very little.
So if you're ever mixing something and it's a little loose,
yeah, just add a little breadcrumbs. I've done this and I have added flour before, just a very little, but you don't want to take too much from the flavor. You know, sometimes flour will suck it up. Now what I'm going to do, and there's also another ingredient that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to do just a teaspoon of cream of shrimp.
Cream of what?
Cream of shrimp.
Tell us all about cream of shrimp. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it? Yeah, cream of shrimp, and I'm only using a little bit. Keeps that seafood flavor. Keeps that seafood flavor. And you can check your local grocery stores. Different brands make it, but I was introduced to this through an aunt back in the 80s. Never heard of it. I saw it on the counter, and she did it in a lot of her etouffees. Added it to her roux, anything seafood, came out perfect. It just gave it an extra seafood, and then seafood is so popular in South Louisiana because we're right by the Gulf. But it is called cream of shrimp. So what we're going to do now, we are going to, you kind of form a cake. And before I'm just going to show you, this is just the size, and you can make them bigger, smaller. And then I have a combination of some flour, cornmeal, and cornstarch. Just a little bit. You know, we're only going to fry like a few of them. So, and all that does, just want to. Yeah.
So we're making. Say it again.
We're doing Creole crawfish cornbread cakes.
Woo!
We've got seasoned cornbread. When I say seasoned, I did jalapeno peppers, the different colored peppers, and some of my seasoning. And we also did the Trinity, the garlic, the onion, and the celery. And of course, we did a little part of my little teaspoon of Caribbean culture. I had a little coconut milk. I'm putting in a little bit of oil, medium-high heat, and I coated them with a mixture of flour, cornmeal, and a little cornstarch.
Is this recipe in your cookbook?
I don't think this one is. I have a rendition of something else, but this one is not. This is the sound I have to do another cookbook, huh?
I think that's
And this one, I think after the cookbook, I saw somebody in the family make them. I thought, but I don't think this is them. I have to double check. Of course, we have South Louisiana, or since I say Louisiana crawfish tails. You can buy those already in the store. And you want to give it just a few minutes on each side before you turn them. And then you don't want too much oil. You don't want to like deep fat fry them. You just want just enough to cover that bottom part so that they will be, get nice and brown. Give them a few minutes on each side. And these you can have. I have a sauce that I do make with them, or either you can eat them by themselves, or eat them, use them with something else that you're having. Use them as an appetizer. It'd be great when you have company come over. You can fix these. I'm not ready to turn them just quite yet. And also, you can also serve these with, and didn't get a chance to pick any up. When you serve them on a platter or something, you can have some crawfish. Some actually boiled crawfish.
that would be like a little appetizer.
Appetizer, yes. It would be an appetizer. So you'll have the crawfish cakes that have crawfish in them, of course, with the seasoning. Got the milletone, which is that squash from the squash family. And then you can always pick up some crawfish if you're having crawfish that evening. Just to go with the crawfish boil.
So you make your own seasoning. What's the name of it?
It's called Panderina Soumas' Creole Explosion.
And you can use that not only on these cakes, but
anything, any and everything.
Like an all-purpose seasoning?
All-purpose seasoning. All-purpose.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All-purpose. You don't want to splatter as much as I did. To get this one to fall over. Okay. And also, with being crawfish season, like I said, I've done it with crawfish, but you can do it with shrimp, and of course crab meat, so, crab meat cake, or a combination of all three: crawfish, crab meat, and shrimp.
Or alligator.
Why not? It's Louisiana. It's Louisiana. And gator meat is very lean. Gator meat is very, very lean. But the cornmeal gives it that, that crispiness, and of course with the cornstarch and of course the flour to kind of bind them together. We're going to give them just a few more minutes. But I thought the crawfish would be more indigenous because it is crawfish season, and you really can't go anywhere without it being crawfish boil. Then of course with my catering business I do crawfish etouffee, and I also do the crawfish fritters, with the corn. So crawfish is very universal as far as different dishes. It's not just crawfish boil, so you can use the crawfish tail meat and so many other things. So, at least I enjoy doing it because I like crawfish. And in my family, it's almost crawfish boil. You might want to sit certain members of the family at opposite ends of the table. My sister could probably eat 100 pounds by herself. I have a cousin, Cynthia. She could probably do the other 100. I'm in between. I could do 25, 30, But these are very, very good. And like I said, the cornbread kind of gives it that country, Creole, Louisiana. And these are almost done. In fact, I'm going to turn the fire off. Just give it a few more minutes. And also, this is really good. You don't want to do any kind of fancy sauce. You can do just some Creole mustard, just a little Creole mustard on the top. Just a little Creole mustard. And if you just prefer yellow mustard. But since I'm trying to keep everything as close to Creole flavor, the authenticity of it, of the culture, I would recommend a Creole mustard. And the Creole mustard is in my sauce that I put on top. So you can do it by itself. And I'll be sharing those recipes with you on my website as well as with on my YouTube.
So this looks like the sauce part you're making.
I am. And what we're going to do, this is some of the cream of shrimp, Creole mustard, mayo, some horseradish, and I'm also going to put a little squeeze of lime. Just a little squeeze, want that little. And you can do lemon as well, but I'm going to go ahead and do lime. I'm just going to get this all incorporated. And you can also, if you want to add a little green onion to it, we're going to just do it this way. Creole mustard, and the lime, horseradish, mayo. And that cream of shrimp is going to really give it a nice little pop. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to spoon some over each top of it. And you can also put this on your plate as a side accompaniment. And also to stretch it, also for some extra flavor. With that, with the cream of shrimp, you can always add a little bit of the coconut milk, just a little bit. Just a little bit for that creamy, not too sweet, but it will really give it a good pop. I don't know, but I'm gonna taste some of this right now. And let's see how it turned out. I have no doubt it turned out good. This is so good. This is real good. Crunchy and moist. Oh, really good, really good. It was real hot. Probably could have let them sit a little bit. I was supposed to let stuff sit, but it was just too good. I had to taste some. So yeah, let them sit as long as about 2-3 minutes. Soumas, thank you for joining me. Next time we're going to talk about my seasoning and my Louisiana pepper sauce. I can tell you where to get it. We're going to do some more fabulous recipes about the Creole, the culture. So come back and join us again, okay? Bye-bye. Thanks.